Tonight on Tortured Bourbon, we're trying a few bourbons with proper etiquette.
Like we learned in part one, right?
Like we learned in part one.
But can we identify the distiller's intent when we taste them?
Stay tuned. What's up, Heather?
What's up, B?
Our mission tonight is to apply the tasting lessons from our previous episode and see if our palates are developing.
Exactly. We're going to try to be brave and vulnerable with our audience. There's a real chance we won't pick up any of the aromas, tasting notes, or finishes that the distillers mentioned, but we're going to try.
I mean, if we were going to Vegas and we were going to bet on this, but we promise to be honest with our audience, and that's what we're going to do tonight. And speaking of our audience, thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, please click like and subscribe.
That's right. And also in our descriptions, you'll find our social media links and ways to support the show, including our Buy Us a Coffee link, which we'd really appreciate.
That's right. We also have newly launched website and merch, so check it out. But if you really want to support us, we don't need the cash. What we need you to do is to hit the share button and send this to some friends and family and ask them to like and subscribe. That's really the best thing you can do to help us support and keep this show going.
Absolutely. Now, back to this show.
Yep.
We have a couple whiskeys here that we'll be tasting. We have a water dropper in case we want to add a little water to make the flavors pop. And we even have a rocks glass if we decide to try something over ice. Good job, Vanna.
Thank you. Hey. But we'll rank them according to our patented Tortured Bourbon scale.
Trademarked, all that good
That's
stuff.
That's right. We'll describe their aroma, their taste, and their finish. Then our amazing co-producer and my lovely Aussie wife, Katie, will reveal the official tasting notes from the distilleries and professional reviews, which we have not read.
We have not, and I'm really excited about this. And I'm especially excited because one of my personal favorites is up first, which is the Michter's US 1 Kentucky Straight Bourbon, coming in at 91.4 proof with an undisclosed mash bill. It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. And full disclosure, we've had these before, obviously.
We have, but
these
not with this protocol.
Yeah, these are two of our favorites.
We like these
a lot. We like these a lot, but we've never sat around and talked like this about it.
No, we have not applied the proper tasting etiquette
and
to
I'm
these
still
two.
learning to say the word Michters.
Michters. It is not Michters and it is not Mitchers. It is Michters.
I think the problem is
it's not just us. I think a lot of people have a problem.
Well, the adult establishment that I frequented in college is Mitch's Tavern. And I think that's just
ingrained in your brain. Well,
yes.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, so we're going to start with the Michter. So first we're going to follow our 4 steps here. We're going to start with this. Don't forget your swirl.
I am, but I will tell you that immediately the Michter's is a little more dark amber.
It is a dark amber. It's a
dark amber.
That could bring the dinosaurs back.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you got that reference.
Yeah. Well, look, in episode 1 you got Rod Stewart, so I was thrilled. All right, so.
All right, off the bat, what are you smelling?
There's a little complex there. You've already gone to taste. You like this stuff.
I do. For me, Michter's is such a great combination of sweet and spicy.
I feel it's almost like I taste brown sugar, or some type of syrup,
like a maple syrup,
like
brown
maple
sugar,
syrup,
molasses.
Molasses, yeah. But I don't get as much of the. It's some bourbons. It's like a bread. I don't know that I get the bready taste.
I don't get the bready taste. I get some oak maybe towards the end when I apply the Kentucky chewing method to it. Maybe leather. I know some distillers like to use the word leather. I personally haven't chewed on leather, but it's a common.
My
note.
dog's in here. We could ask him what it tastes like to chew on leather. That dog,
lost some shoes.
Yeah. So what I get, I get, and everyone's going to get something different, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. I think that's one thing that people get hung up on. I don't have to taste what you taste.
No.
And nor should we, because it's all based on a palate that we've built over time. To me, it's got a good mouth. In other words, it doesn't taste watery to me.
No, it's
right?
robust.
There's something there, which I really like.
I like it. It's not a secret.
There's some other bourbons that I really like, and one of the first things I'll say to the person serving to me is I really love the mouth.
This one has a really good mouthfeel, like you said. It's almost going back to what you said about syrup taste. It's got also a syrup consistency. Like it's thick almost.
Now at the end, I get the oak.
Okay, yeah. So you get it too.
Yeah, I mean it. To me, it completely switches up. Because we start sweet and then we go oak.
Exactly.
And oak to me is also, for me, oak can be dry.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
So I've never tasted with your taste buds or my wife's taste buds or your husband's taste buds or anyone else's taste buds for that matter.
That would be an interesting style.
That would be. That's the next episode. How to taste with other people's taste buds. But to me, this is... all right, so we've got to get there.
Yeah.
So
let's land this plane.
I get the brown sugar. And then I get some oak. Smells fantastic. Beautiful color. What's the price point on a bottle of this in the great state?
Knew you were going to ask me that. It's around $45.
Around 45? Okay.
So it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not
cheap.
It's not cheap,
yeah.
but it's not bad.
But I mean, it's a good. I think it's at around the right price point. So
will that dog hunt for you, or
you know that dog hunts for me.
So it's
that dog might need to hush its mouth for me.
Okay, so for me, it's definitely that dog will hunt because this is something that I could sit down and I could enjoy 5 nights a week.
This could be a daily nightcap.
Yeah. This is a 5-night a weeker. This is certainly this is after a fire. This is after a ball game.
Oh yeah.
This is after a good day of work. It's after a bad day of work.
It's either one.
Yeah, so it is a strong dog will hunt.
Before we finish our tasting notes, I do want to put a couple drops of water in it and just see if that brings anything out.
Well, while she's doing that, can our lovely and talented Australian tell us what the reviewers say? Let's see how off we were.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is from breakingbourbon.com.
It's a great, no sponsorship. It really is a good website. It really is a good website.
And it alludes to another one of our favorite shows.
Yeah, it does.
So,
Breaking Bad, yeah.
And it actually broke it all out. So the nose presents a very straightforward, light and pleasant nose. New oak, corn, grain, and raisins. Present but subtle.
And see, I was completely on brown sugar, so
yeah.
So much for my nose.
Well, the raisins could bring a little sweetness.
Yeah, and the corn obviously brings sweetness, yeah.
Absolutely.
The palate best summed up as sweet with a good mouthfeel.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
So on the money.
Breaking Bourbon, give me a call.
No, you can't take you from this show.
Sweet corn, honey, and vanilla, immediately noticeable.
Absolutely get the honey.
Yes.
And the finish is light and lingering with notes of oak.
Oh, I think I said oak first.
You said it.
White pepper. So you got the pepper as well.
Okay, now that you say that.
Honey, peaches, and raisins, with the predominant flavor being the pepper that brings that subtle heat and spice to the finish.
Which is exactly what we said, that it's a really good combination of sweet and spicy.
Okay, now that you've said it, I can get raisin.
In the smell and in the taste.
Absolutely. I'm going to struggle for a while with peach.
I don't get peach.
But it's good. White pepper, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I probably need... And that's interesting because I season with white pepper and I also season with black pepper and all types of pepper. I need to spend some time tasting the difference between white pepper and black pepper.
It is different. I use white pepper a lot, and it is very different than black pepper. And now that she said that, I get that because it's a totally different spice. Yeah. But the honey is right on the money.
The honey, yeah.
I didn't mean to rhyme, but I rhyme all the time.
Being we're rhyming, just quick. Adam Yauch, his birthday today. Beloved Adam Yauch from the Beastie Boys.
Peace.
So while you're rhyming, rest in peace, Adam.
For those of you who don't know, he was a member of the Beastie Boys.
Yes. All right, so.
All right, on to the next one.
Yeah. So what we have here is Rabbit Hole, and I believe I'm going to say this right, HEIGOLD?
I believe that's correct.
It's a high rye straight bourbon. It's 70% corn, It's 28% malted rye and 5% malted barley. That makes it a high rye. Now, I will have to tell you that both of these have pretty bottles, but that's a pretty bottle.
Oh, you know why we have that bottle? It's because I saw it on Instagram
and
I sent it to you and said, go.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for blue and gold.
Yeah. There's several that use this combination, and it is fantastic. This is a little more expensive than the Michters. Mm-hmm. They're a little more proud, I guess. But it's good stuff.
And we will do a rabbit hole episode.
Yes, we are gonna go down the rabbit hole.
Ooh.
We're gonna go down the rabbit hole.
Is that like Alice in Wonderland?
You better believe it.
I'm full of literary allusions this evening.
So.
All right. So on to the HEIGOLD.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go through our steps. Well, we got to look at it first.
Yeah. Okay, so
I think I drank too much of my Michters to compare. Oh, it's actually a little bit darker.
Just a tad.
Yeah.
Just a tad. Good legs. Look at those legs. Rod Stewart will be happy. Okay.
No burn on the smell.
With 28% malted rye, there's no burn on the smell. Mm-mm. That's surprising to me.
And it's 95 proof.
Yeah.
But it's not burning my... Maybe I'm just warmed up to this, but it's not burning. Nope. All right, are you ready to... All right, well, let's say what we're smelling.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't pick up as many distinct smells as I did with the Michters.
Me neither. But it's pleasant. There's aroma. It's not burning.
No.
So I'm not getting the ethanol.
No.
I'm not getting ethanol.
Mm-mm. Maybe I'll smell my arm. No, I just smell my lotion.
That's strange. You see a person do that in the locker room, you really go the other way. Ron, you've spent some time in the locker room. If I walked in and start doing that, you're gonna wonder, right?
I mean, yeah, but as long as you have clothes on.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's give this a taste.
All right. Okay, so I get a caramel.
To me, it's got. I understand it's 28% malted rye, but to me, it is sweet.
I think so too. Absolutely.
It's sweet, and it gives you this. The heat kind of does this. Mm-hmm. It doesn't spike, but the longer you hold it in, it just kind of warms up in your mouth.
It doesn't burn.
It does not burn. No. It warms up in your mouth. Graham cracker.
I was about to say I absolutely get a graham cracker smell. I want to have this while making s'mores by the fire. That's a very specific request that I would like for you to make happen. Thank you.
We know what my role in this position is.
To go make a fire.
Go make a fire. Go get the bourbon. Go make your s'mores.
I'll make my s'more. Just have the ingredients. Okay, so I'm going to say the smell is a light, pleasant sweetness. And then the taste is also light. With, like you said, a bit of a graham cracker finish. I get a little hint of caramel, maybe a little bit of vanilla. And it does not burn. The mouthfeel, it's lighter than the Michters. It's not as thick. Like it's not as syrupy. Does that make sense?
And the longer I sit here, the warmer I'm getting.
This is getting.
But it's not burning.
No.
And that's hard for me to describe. It's not burn. It is warm.
Yeah, it truly warms you. Like this would be great on a cold night.
Yeah.
By the fire with s'mores.
It is August, and there will be no fire.
I will give you until October.
So for me, this gets awfully close to hush your mouth.
Okay.
And the reason for me is that I don't taste many bourbons like this one.
It is unique.
Now, that could just be my limited experience that we're working on. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you have 10 years more experience than I do, so.
Thanks.
That was a compliment.
Yeah. Sure it is. But I do like it. And I know that is... the one thing I would say is that I want to say it's close to $60 a bottle, and that's what stops me from being hush your mouth. Mm-hmm. Because while it has a different taste profile than the Michters, look at that, I said it, Michters.
You did.
I don't know that it's a $20
difference.
difference.
No, I absolutely agree, and that's one of the reasons
But
I like
let me tell you
Michter
what
so
it
much.
is. It's a great gift.
It is because it's a pretty bottle. It's a great taste.
gift.
It's a great taste. It's mellow. Mellow is the word I've been looking for.
And you don't.
It is subtle.
Yeah.
and mellow.
So for me, it's a good dog.
Yeah, this one is that
It's a
dog
good
will hunt,
dog,
but again,
and
that's a dog you want to keep the lineage.
That's right, and it's a great gift.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to us getting a straight up hush your mouth.
Yes, I'm looking for the cock of the walk.
I am too.
We still haven't had it.
We've
It
not
still
had it.
eludes us.
It's eluding us.
All right, but what I'm looking for right now is for Katie to tell us how off we were on this flavor profile.
Not as off as you would think.
Oh, good.
Again, from breakingbourbon.com. The nose is caramel and gingerbread sweetness with a quick
Get that now that.
so graham cracker kind of
Yeah.
fits that. A quick swirl reveals apricot and a touch of oak. And yes, I pronounced it the Australian
I'm
way.
not getting the apricot. Maybe the oak, but not the apricot.
Apricot. Apricot.
I might get the apricot, but I'm not going to get an apricot because I'm married to the Aussie. No, I don't get that.
No.
I do get the oak.
I
Okay,
also
so-
don't eat apricots a
I
lot
don't
anyway.
know.
So.
Okay, but when she says it, so I think for oak to me is not I taste oak more than I smell oak.
Yes, I agree with that.
But after someone says that, I can then taste oak. To me, oak is a finisher.
It is. It's a back end
Yeah.
taste.
But that's
Yeah.
just me. What else?
That's it for the nose.
Okay.
On to the palate. Sweet brown sugar
Here's your brown sugar.
and caramel contrast, rye spice, and burnt oak.
Okay. Okay. I think the
That
burnt oak
fire,
is the
smoke.
fire.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I don't have all the terminology, but I see what we're
I think
tasting.
we had this. We had the vibes right.
Yeah.
We have the setting correct.
Is that it? Are we at finish or?
So for the finish,
Okay.
a crescendo of rice spice briefly surges in the finish with sweet flavors of vanilla, caramel, and gingerbread rushing back quickly.
I guess the gingerbread and the graham, there's some similar.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
One more thing, just because you mentioned the bottle, they actually mentioned that on first glance, Rabbit Hole's sexy whiskey bottle is, with its modern design and elegant curves, seems as if it may be just another marketing ploy, but a closer look reveals more than meets the eye.
It's like the Jessica Rabbit of bourbons.
Yeah. Well, you do have a rabbit on it.
It was an easy comparison.
Yeah.
The curves and the rabbit.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, you've shared before. I mean,
I'm a
you gotta
sucker
look-
for good packaging.
Yeah, sucker for good. And obviously, Apple figured that out.
Yes.
So, okay, you can't blame them.
So, what did we learn here?
Well, I've learned that I need to develop my palate, but probably
We're getting there.
my vocabulary probably needs more
I
developing
feel
than
like
anything.
we're bumbling through, but we're
Yeah.
bumbling forward.
But so this is where I'm going to go old school.
Oh.
Okay. So many times people go to the bar, and my purpose of going to the bar, and maybe everyone has a different purpose. I'm not going to the bar to drink too much.
No.
I'm going to the bar to be social. Mm-hmm. And to
I've
be
never
social,
gone anywhere to be social.
Never. And more people are going to the bar to be social by sitting on their phones and texting people who aren't there to tell them what a good time they're having.
Or take pictures of it and post it to show
Yeah.
them what a good time they're
And
having.
I get that I'm out of that generation.
You pesky kids, get off my lawn!
But here's an activity that you can go to a bar. You can sit, you can compare what you're drinking, whether it be whiskey, bourbon, you can put wine and beer in there if you want to.
Absolutely.
And you can have a discussion of what are you tasting? What am I tasting? Do you like this? It's a conversation starter. It's engaging. It leads to other conversations.
Right.
All of these tastes go back. You've mentioned a campfire not less than 3 times. So there's a story there, right? There's a history there. Our mountain girl probably spent some time
There's
by
been a few
campfire.
campfires in my life.
So
yeah.
I mean, you've got conversation starter, and I would suggest to our listeners and our viewers, give these type of activities a shot.
Except drink it slow.
Yeah, drink it slow, and that's to enjoy the people you're with. Bourbon's about these people who want to buy a bottle of bourbon and put it on a shelf and never,
Those aren't our people.
those aren't our people. I mean,
No.
it's nice to have good. I mean, we obviously like having good bourbon.
We
but
do. But there is nothing
We're-
we have that we're not going to
Yeah,
drink.
but we want to drink it with others.
Correct.
And that's
Correct.
That's part of our torture, is that we
Right.
really want to explore this together with other people.
And
but
we want to be
daggone
able to
it.
get certain things that we can't to explore with other people. But I do remember your birthday this year. You know, we shared a whiskey flight, and it
Yeah.
was really fun to try 5 different kinds and compare them. And then we even got into some scotch, which is not something we get into all the time.
And I really like the scotch.
By that point, we were really having a good time. I'm not sure if it was the sharing of the bourbon or more just the amount. But your point is well taken, and that it's a fun activity. It's a way to talk and interact and not just be on your phones. Be silly.
And be a little vulnerable to one another and laugh.
Exactly. Take a shot in the dark and say, I taste strawberries. And then even if you're wrong, it's still a fun time.
Yeah. Well, with that, we go to this is our concluding episode. We have trivia with Ryan.
We do.
And I believe that trivia is going to be about episode 1 and episode 2.
It
so
is
we're looking
parts
forward
1
to
and
this.
2.
Yeah, so I had stuff for both episodes, so I'm just going to go through 2 questions of each. I can remember true, false, general trivia, and then sports. So first true, false question, going back to the first episode when you guys were talking about neat and on the rocks and with the water and everything. True or false, the term on the rocks is thought to have originated with the description of someone who is down on their luck or troublesome who often drank whiskey.
I don't know if... I think it's false.
If it is, it's a great story.
It is, but I still think it's false.
We'll go with your first. We'll go with your first inclination.
What is your first inclination?
It's a great story. I don't care if it's true or not. I'm going to adopt it.
I'm going to go with false.
It is false. It is, but the what I have found on the internet looking through this is that on the rocks is thought to have originated with Scottish drinkers who put rocks from the riverbed that were cold into their whiskey to cool it. So that is where.
Right.
See, that's what I thought would be more
That's
of the
that's where the
story.
terms.
Yeah.
That's where the term. At least that's one of the popular theories about it. No one knows for sure, but that's a popular.
I'm
theory.
going with it.
Yeah.
It's a good theory.
Yeah. Okay. And now true false for the second episode, going back to Michter's whiskey. The name Michter's comes from a distant uncle of Louis Foreman, who owned the distillery in the 1900s. True or false?
All right. So the only reason I would go with true is that Foreman Brown is a distiller.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely heard that name.
And now, that's not who owns Michter's now. There's a
He does not own.
distribution
He does not
company.
currently own it.
Yeah,
no.
there's a
But I
distribution
know
company.
Michter's goes way back.
It goes way back, and
Michter sounds like a name.
in fact, I think Foreman Brown is now who owns, or Brown Foreman. They own Jack Daniels.
We
Yeah.
talked about it during.
I'm gonna go with true.
I'm gonna go with true too. We'll go together. We'll go in on true.
Okay, it's actually false.
You let us down a path. It felt so good.
But the name of Michter's actually is really interesting. It is Louis Foreman, the guy who owned the distillery in the 1900s. Actually, it's a made-up name. It is a combination of his 2 sons' names, Michael and Peter.
Oh wow!
And that is
I
where
like that even better.
And that is where the term comes from. So,
I like that even
yeah.
more.
All right.
And being we've just been all over the bottle about. Let's just say that this claims to be pre-revolutionary. When you look at the bottle,
It looks
I
pre-revolutionary.
mean, I feel like we are sitting in Colonial Williamsburg.
I was about to say the same thing. In a
this
tavern.
is straight out of Colonial
I
Williamsburg.
feel like we could walk into a tavern right now and order that, and
I'm sure they had a UPC label, but
Well,
exactly
also
the same.
an interesting note that I did not include. I was going to include it, but I figured you guys had heard it before. The Michter's distillery is thought to have supplied whiskey to General Washington and his troops during the Revolutionary War.
See, I knew
there
I
you
loved
go.
it for a reason.
well, I will be going to Pennsylvania tomorrow with my son and wife, and we will be going to Valley Forge, and
there you go.
I
Take
might
that
just have to
with you.
take this with me and just
pour one out.
reminisce.
Just pour one out for
No,
the.
I'm not going to pour it out.
Pour one out.
I'm not going to pour it out.
All right, on to
But
general.
I won't be driving.
Okay,
Go ahead.
on to general trivia. And I didn't really have a general trivia topic for the first episode, so I just Googled interesting whiskey trivia. Can you guys name the country that consumes the most whiskey on average each year?
It's gotta be Ireland or England.
Is it per person, or are we talking just?
I think it's
consumed?
just total volume is what I was.
Ireland or England.
If it's total volume, I mean, well, you nodded, so I don't know how to.
It's total volume.
It's gotta be Ireland or England.
Does it?
I don't see. Okay,
You
so
think it's
got-
America?
Well,
Think
no,
population
I mean, when
numbers.
I'm thinking population, there's a whole lot of people in China and India. I mean, there's a
And
lot of people in China and India. All right. I mean, England's a nice place, but it's about the size of Florida.
I hear your logic.
And I bet they drink just as much in Kentucky.
You want to go with China?
I mean, I'd go with the United States before I went with.
All right, let's go with China.
Let's go with China.
It's actually India. There you
I
go.
You were right
Yeah.
there. You were right there.
Yeah.
So that's surprising, and now I'm learning. Hey,
So
I
I found
didn't-
that very interesting as well, which is why I put that on there.
I wonder what type of.
It just said whiskey.
I'm
The-
curious as the type.
Yeah,
We eat a lot of Indian food, and they always have a nice bar.
Yeah.
But I've never really noticed.
I don't think I've ever ordered an alcoholic drink when I've eaten Indian
No, I'm just
because my body's already
I'm pounding water.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pounding water. Or a good lassi. Good
Right,
lassi.
right,
Yeah.
right.
All right. According to second general trivia question from the second episode, according to the Rabbit Hole official website, the James Beard Foundation has included chef-inspired food pairings to go with the HEIGOLD whiskey. Any chance you guys could name any of those foods?
You're kidding,
S'mores.
right? S'mores.
It's not s'mores.
James Beard is definitely into s'mores.
Bougie s'mores desserts are in. Okay.
But I can tell you.
I'm just
so
telling you.
so anyway, so what it says on their website, I've just got it pulled up right here. Grilled chicken skewers, sprinkled with sea salt and chives with roasted scallops.
Oh, I'm hungry now.
Let's go.
And then they also said additional pairings for butternut squash, ravioli, coconut shrimp, and roasted sweet
These are my kind of
potatoes.
James Beard
Yeah.
people.
I had a grilled cheese for dinner. So
So
let's be real clear about
We
something.
had sloppy joes, so.
Wow.
there you go. All right, well,
Never.
that's all I got.
Well, thank you.
All right.
On a completely side note, guess what I got to be last night
What?
on Theo's PlayStation? I got to be Wrexham in the soccer game.
That's big stuff.
Mullen scored 3 goals.
I bet he did. Was that
you don't-
before or
if-
after? Oh, I won't spoil it. I
Yeah,
won't spoil it. No spoilers here. All right. So on that note,
If you don't follow Welcome to Wrexham, you're not living.
shout out Ryan Reynolds. Give us a call.
McElhinney.
Either of you.
Either.
Both.
Yeah.
I think
Check-
it's McElhaney.
McElhinney. I'm going to Pennsylvania. I'm bringing back the whiskey.
If you could bring him back too, that'd be great.
I'll work on that.
He'd be
And
great.
so-
He'd be a great guest.
Can we cheers this and be done?
Sure, why not? You got on the tangent.
Fair. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers, y'all.